Fidgeting actually helps certain children stay alert. That's what recent studies of children with ADHD found, and it may have profound implications on how these children are taught. Here with more is WSJ health reporter Sumathi Reddy and Ruth Joray from the Quaker school in Horsham, Pennsylvania. Thanks to both of you for being here. Sumathi, let me start with you. Sure. Tell us a little bit more about these two studies.
These are interesting studies. One found that the performance on a computer task was better for kids with ADHD who were able to move around in a swivel chair, whereas typical kids actually did worse the more they moved.
That's so interesting because I'm such a fidgety person that I would think that everyone would concentrate better when they're fidgety. But Ruth, what has your experience as an educator been? Do these results surprise you?
No, they're not at all surprising. Our school is 100% for children who have special learning needs. And they're very bright children, but their learning is inhibited by kind of standard, typical classroom practices. So about a third of our children have ADHD as a diagnosis, along with other learning disabilities that have to do with reading and writing and math skills. And our entire program is accommodated to different children's different needs. One of those adaptations is allowing kids to move, to stand, to have furnishings that are movable, that provide a little feedback, sensory feedback to them as they're sitting. And everybody in this school, all the teachers have boxes of what we call fidget tools, which are small objects that are squishy or textural or movable that kids use, and it helps them to be more focused.
It's so interesting because I know we once talked about a study that using things with your hands, sort of fidgeting with your hands, helps people concentrate. So this makes sense to me. But what do these studies say when it comes to medication? If you allow these children to be more fidgety, can you then lower the doses of their medication?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
So some experts will say absolutely not. This is just something that might be able to use in conjunction with other therapies. But there are some who say, with more studies, maybe like if you only need a very mild medication, perhaps those kinds of students would be able to go off medication, or maybe they can take a lower dose. And there's a lot of parents out there who frankly don't want to medicate their children, so maybe these sorts of accommodations can help those parents.
And we know that cases of ADHD are on the rise, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Yet we don't know exactly why. Are there theories about it at this point?
There's a lot of theories. Overdiagnosis is one, but the rates have been going up about 3% a year. We're now up to at least 11%. Some people will say higher, of children who have ADHD. It's one of the most common neurodevelopmental disorders we have.
And Ruth, do you see this on the rise in your classroom? Are you getting more and more children each year?
I would say that ADHD is very prevalent in our population. Because it's a specialized population, it's hard to say if we're seeing more here. We see only children who have neurological differences. But I will say, anecdotally, in response to the medication and ability to move, we've definitely had kids here who have diminished or left medication when they're able to adapt to the environment and the environment to them. It's remarkable. Not with extreme cases. Of course, you can use a combination of medication, psychotherapy, and an adapted environment. There are all sorts of permutations of how to help kids self-regulate and function in school.
Well, it sounds like good news, but we're talking about much more than just sort of letting boys be boys and get up and walk around the room, right? We're talking about different types of physical fidgeting.
I mean, the bottom line for educators is you don't want to distract other students who are doing this. So, yeah, things that like other people won't notice or that aren't going to make a lot of noise.
Right. All right, Sumathi and Ruth, thanks to both of you for that.